Hello again, I'm Matthew from thewetpen.com, and if you have followed my channel for a while, Ranga's handmade pens from India will already be familiar to you. I've made probably 3 or 4 videos about them already. Ranga has been making some of the best pens from India for years, and recently they've been getting even better. They have been introducing new models, but more importantly, they've been introducing new materials. And in this video, I'm going to show you one of the new materials in 2 different pens. This one is the first Ranga pen that I did not order directly from India. I got this one from Peyton Street Pens here in the US. The pen is a Ranga Model 4 with no clip. It's available both ways. It's my first Model 4, but what's really special here is the resin. This pen is made from one of Ranga's new premium resins. This one is the Teal and Peach, with a glossy, polished finish. And I think it is absolutely gorgeous. The color combination is wonderful, contrasting and complementary, but it's also full of stunning textures and patterns, and some amazing depth. This pen, the Model 4, is a medium-sized model and has conical ends. And as you can see, the cap has straight sides that match up with the body, which also continues straight for about 2 centimeters and then tapers evenly down towards the conical end of the pen. The threads on this cap have 3 starts, so it unscrews in just 1 full turn, which is excellent. The threads are really nicely made, they're fine, and not sharp at all if you happen to rest your fingers on them. The grip section tapers gently from 12 millimeters in diameter down to about 10 millimeters at the nib end. But there's a fairly substantial lip at the end to keep your fingers away from the nib. From the cap threads to the body, there's a good-sized step up, but since the grip section and threads are so long, it's actually perfectly comfortable. I don't notice it at all when I'm holding the pen. Ranga pens are generally available with their own branded nibs, which I believe are Indian-made Canwright nibs, or your choice of German Jowo, Bach, or Schmidt nibs. From Peyton Street Pens, these were not made to order, they were in stock, so mine came with a plain Jowo nib, which is probably what I would have chosen anyway. Although I'll probably switch it out for a more interesting nib down the line. In fact, Kaigaloo makes these rose gold plated nibs. You can find them on AliExpress for just a few dollars, and I think they'd match this resin really nicely. Let me give it a try. Yep, these look like they were made for each other. Nice. The cap does post securely, which is handy for when I need it, but it is a little bit on the heavy side to be comfortable for long writing sessions. You'll probably want to use it capless when you're writing letters or long journal entries, but those are not the situations that I want to post a cap anyway, and it's a large enough pen to be comfortable unposted anyway. The one thing about this pen that might bug some of you is that when you cap the pen, this peach area on one side will never quite match up 100% between the cap and body. This is a little unusual for Ranga. Usually they do seem to match up, or maybe I've just been lucky in the past, but in any case, it's a very minor thing and it doesn't really bother me at all. I just really love this material. And that would probably have been about it for this video, except that one day I saw that my friend Dustin had ordered a Ranga pen in this same material, but with a matte finish, and it looked incredible. So I ordered another pen, and this time directly from Ranga. This pen is the Ranga Bheem, very similar to the Samurai but larger and with a different clip. In fact, maybe a little more similar to the round-ended Splendor. But as I say, I ordered this one with the matte finish. And look at this material. So beautiful. Until I got this pen, I thought that the glossy finish would be my favorite, but really, in person at least, the matte finish gives it so much more depth. The chatoyancy of this material really shows up well too. It's such a remarkably beautiful resin. Overall, the pen is also really wonderful. The clip on this pen is probably my favorite style that is commonly found on Indian pens. And this one has the Ranga name laser etched into it. But the same shape is found on the Splendor. This older one has no branding. And this Gamma pen, for example, also uses the same clip. The threads on this pen are also a triple start, but this time, in one of the positions, the material on the cap and barrel do match up pretty perfectly. Here, the pen cap unscrews in about 1.5 turns, which is great. And the threads are also fine and smooth. On this pen, the grip is a little more hourglass shaped, but with the narrowest point about 0.5 centimeter away from the nib. Again, there's a bit of a step up from the threads to the body of the pen, and this is actually the most obvious difference between the Bheem and the rounded Splendor. The Splendor's threads are right at the level of the barrel, and its grip section is a little bit shorter and thicker overall. And along with that, the Splendor's cap threads are a little wider, so the caps of these two pens are not interchangeable. I bought this Bheem with a double broad Ranga nib this time. I think that these Ranga nibs are really nice looking, much better than the plain Yovos, although I'm not sure that they are as reliably smooth. Anyway, overall, this pen is really comfortable. It's a good size for my hand, but I tend to like bigger pens, so your mileage may vary. The cap does post securely on this pen too, but it's even heavier than the cap on the Model 4, so it won't be great for long writing sessions, but it's a handy place to keep the cap if you need to jot down some quick notes. Let me show you how large these pens are compared to some more common ones, starting with the Model 4. Here's the Model 4 with a Lamy All-Star, which is just a bit shorter, and here's a Wing Sung 630, which is very similar. And for my Indian viewers, here's a Click Aristocrat and a Can Write Desire. Now for the Bheem, here it is next to a Ranga Splendor and a Ranga Samurai. And here's an Abhimanyu and an Abhimanyu Grand. And again, here it is next to the Lamy All-Star and the Wing Sung 630. And now, I guess it's about time for me to show you how they write. The Model 4 actually just has a Yovo nib, so that will write exactly like any other pen with a Yovo broad nib, regardless of what pen it's attached to, so I'll skip that one, but I'll show you what it looks like with the Kaigaloo nib in it. If you're familiar with Kaigaloo nibs at all, you know that these mediums are quite broad and always really smooth, and this one is no exception. And I've inked up the Bheem with my own Blackberry ink since it was handy, and as you can see, I get a really nice broad smooth line from this nib too. I will say that it has a little bit of a baby's bottom, and the feed is a little bit on the dry side, but with this ink it's not a problem. It probably would be with something a little drier. Now, these pens are Indian, but they're not exactly inexpensive. The Model 4 was around $125, and the Bheem was about $10 more. Considering the fact that these are handmade pens, and that the material is gorgeous, that's still very reasonable and considerably less expensive than what you might find on Etsy, for example. For me, getting a pen from India is a bonus in itself, because I've spent time in India and I know and love so many people from India. For me, Indian pens are part of a personal connection, so it's an easy decision to buy a beauty like this. But even for the rest of you, I would say that they should really still be worth considering. And that's it. I will try to remember to put the contact information for Ranga down below, but as usual, this video is not sponsored, and I bought these pens myself at full price. My next video is a bit of an unusual one, about a bunch of inks. It should just be a few days away, and then I finally want to show you a brand of fountain pens that you probably haven't seen before. If you'd like to see either of those things, then this is a good time to subscribe to my channel if you're not already, and don't forget that there's a like button down there if you feel like using it, and I'll see you back here again soon with another new video about fountain pens and ink. Take care out there, everyone. I'll see you soon.